and welcome to a tutorial on how to play Earthshaker. There's a Drumstep up there. Earthshaker, as I've said before, I think, is one of my favourite and most played heroes. I have 71 total games as this hero. It is officially my most played hero, and by quite a way. I tried to stop playing him for a bit to let other people catch up, and then suddenly this patch he was incredibly strong. They did debuff him a little in patch 7.06F, increasing the cost for this at early levels, and I can't remember what else, but I think there was something else. Also, I apologise in advance now if the announcers go off, and also why there's another Sven here. As the lanes are pushing, I'm kind of stopping them come in. So if you actually know how to turn the announcers off completely, like I've turned the other ones off, but it just put it to the default announcer. But anyway, to the tutorial. So I've actually created my own build here, completely with these kind of items. The items that I picked up in the early game were the courier, obviously, these two wards that I placed to get vision for this tutorial, the windlace and the tangos. The clarity is there just kind of if you don't have to buy one of the wards, or you don't have to buy courier, or like just one of these items is missing. Actually, there should be two wards there. There you go. Yeah, if you don't have to buy one of the wards or courier, you can pick up a clarity, and it really helps you, especially with the roaming abilities. Because Earthshaker is... I should put a flying courier there as well, actually. Earthshaker is both a defensive and aggressive hero, which is quite interesting in the sense that, for example, your carry, Sven, who is actually dying, is getting chased by this guy. You can just drop down this stun and it'll block them off. But at the same time, if the enemy Sven was this side of the fissure, well, it'll probably disappear now I tried to demonstrate it. Oh, I think it was fissure cooldown. Yeah, I think it was fissure cooldown. Oh, the Sven died. No, this guy is trying to escape and you're ganking him from behind, for example. You can fissure across here and they won't be able to escape. Obviously, if you plant it like this, they actually can't get past at all. I'm auto-attacking him, I don't mean to do that. But fissure is an absolutely brilliant skill. You can enhance it with the extra fissure range. The first two are kind of self-explanatory. Extra mana is great because he's a strength hero, and you don't really need to play core unless you really need that extra damage.
Middle tower is
the 50 damage is way better than... Oh gosh, middle tower's under attack. Let's just send this here. 50 extra damage is better than the move speed because of, well, you got a windlace covering that already for you. I mean, that's, what is it, 200 and something gold? Oh, my ward died. 200 and something gold. Whereas you can just get it for free. I'll buy some more wards now. So we got that ability. But then fissure range and echo damage, it's kind of up to you. You could need fissure range, but normally echo damage is going to be better generally. And the enchant totem for the late game, once you're level 25, it will normally be the best option. So obviously, as well as the blocking aspect of it, which is what makes Earthshaker such a great roamer and defender, it does apply a stun and damage in that line. Then we have enchant totem. So this ability, you are dropping down your totem, and the effect is from his next ability, but just the actual totem drop is what the second ability does on its own, and it's going to amp his damage up significantly, 100, 200, 300, 400%, and you get one massive hit, but no more than that one hit. This ability isn't too great on its own, but his passive is what makes it so strong, as well as his other abilities. Aftershock, this is what makes Earthshaker one of the best stunners in the game, because two of his abilities already stun. Well, actually, one of his abilities already stun, but with this passive, they all apply a stun, which is what makes them so amazing. So that's when I walk near him with my second, it applies this extra stun. It does do damage as well, but that's not really noticeable unless you're in the lane last hitting creeps. This is what made him so good as a core. in the off lane or the mid lane role as of recent, so you could just completely harass people out with these two abilities. You could kill creeps with the aftershock, and you could harass the guy away because he wouldn't want to take that much damage. And then obviously the one thing we've all seen from Earthshaker is the Echo Slam. But as I can't be bothered to look up how to reset cooldowns, I might as well pull off the combo here. So normally you'll lead in with this, then you'll go for your fissure or something. I have slowed it down quite significantly, and then you'll go in for the slam, and that allows you complete chain lockdown of the enemy if you actually do it at the proper speed rather than slowing it down like I was. But that's the basis of this hero, really. I think he'll always remain a support. I don't think there's anything that will change him from being that support. He's probably going to stay a support, but as for core, I'm not sure if he'll last as a core. He hasn't. I'm not sure if he's been a core in the past, but all of a sudden he's come out as a core, as a pretty strong core at that, and he's just immensely strong in this patch, despite the slight debuffs that have gone against him. He has, as I said, great aggressive potential and defensive potential with the fissure. These two abilities can make him core or give him the extra lockdown to be an even better support. And then this one obviously is where you're thinking about that big counter Echo Slam. The enemies are pushing into my base, but we've got an Earthshaker behind, it doesn't really matter. So getting into the build just quickly before I finish this up, we have the situational items. Some of these are duplicated, but there is a reason behind that. The situational items of Magic Wand, Raindrop, that's kind of situational for every hero really. Raindrops being so powerful since they came out, and I love to put them in builds because I always forget to use them every single time. But I love to use them anytime I can actually remember to buy them. But then we have our Force Staff. Now, situational items could be under early game, but it's some of them. These are early game, but then some of these items are also late game. It's all kinds of situational items. But for the early game items, we have the Arcane Boots and Blink Dagger. That's kind of classic. But the reason the Force stuff would come next in luxury items and is also in situational items is for games where you're a solo support Earthshaker. I've done this many times in those 71 games I've played, so I know how it feels to be a solo support Earthshaker, and you just can't make it to that blink. Even though Force stuff is exactly the same price, it comes in parts, so you don't have to save up all this money, and as a support you want to get involved in as many fights as you can, but you can't do that if you're like going for a bigger tier item with one parts, like, I don't know, if you're going to a Radiance or something with a Sacred Relic in, or this Blink Dagger, or a Midas Recipe, things like that. They're just too big for a solo support especially to get, because normally you have a position 4 and a 5, one really poor support that can rely on their spells, and one rich, greedy support that doesn't have to do that. So in games that you can't afford that Blink Dagger, if you are skilled enough, you can pick up a Force Staff from the situational items and use it just as well if you know what you're doing. But it's such a good item because of that reason that even once you get a Blink Dagger, it's a great item to pick up. Then you got BKB is in both, because BKB would normally come after items like this, maybe an Axe before BKB, or maybe one of these situational items depending on the game. But if you can never get your combo off, your big Echo Slam, your Fissure, you can never get your control out in the fight because you're being controlled yourself, BKB is in situational because you can get it earlier on. Yule's Scepter and Veil, I'd suppose they're, well, and Lotus Orb and Glimmercape, they're all situational depending on who you're fighting against, because of Veil will mean if you need more magic damage so you can amp it up, Lotus Orb can reflect those single target spells, Glimmercape can save people, and Yule's can be an extra form of lockdown for you to get in range with your other spells, especially useful once you have that Blink Dagger, Yulesing someone up and then landing the stun perfectly so you can combo them even easier. But then after that, in your luxuries, well, situational, the supportive items in there as usual as you're playing a support, just to kind of remember you to get them, that they're there, because I forget a lot of the time. I have to be reminded quite a bit by my cores when I play support. but oh well, that's part of the game. I'm normally too focused to notice. But then you've got your Ag Scepter, which allows you to jump around with this. It actually gives you quite a decent range. Okay, so now we've got that Aghanim Scepter. I am sorry for not having that in advance, but I'm quite a ways into the recording now, so I'll probably just end up picking up that, but we have quite a bit of range, so we'll run up from there to that mid lane. Oh, we can actually see while hovering over there. So 900 jump distance. So we got quite that distance, and obviously when we land we apply that aftershock, which is what makes it strong. Gives you so much mobility when you have a blink and a force stuff. And actually just remembered something else I left out in my build. The Shadow Blade. That's supposed to be there as well. That's, again, Earthshaker has enough with his spells that he just needs mobility. So there's not really much else you need apart from these Shadow Blades, Force Staff, Blink Dagger, and obviously Ags giving you this extra jump, and you can land your stun. So you can blink in, do that, and well, you can jump in, do that, land the stun, or blink out if it's too safe. Just unlimited amounts of mobility is the way to play this hero. And also, if you did notice, I used Echo Slam, but it has come back off cooldown now. So one more for the glory. I know it's not on the heroes, but why not? I can't be bothered to go and bring Sven back up.
Yes.
So thank you very much for watching. I hope this was helpful, and you can find my guide under 7.06 Earthshaker supports by Captain Matt, obviously. And thank you again for watching. If this was helpful, please say so, and I will look forward to doing more videos like this in the future.
Here I come.
Goodbye.